When Lorenzo Castorre Jr. signed for Colo-Colo, he believed that he would now be at the perfect stage to show all of his quality to the world, and this feeling was only reinforced after scoring 2 goals on his debut. However, after missing a penalty in the Copa Libertadores shootout, which ultimately resulted in his team's elimination, Castorre has been struggling a lot more on the pitch. Even though his performances continue to be very solid, playing an integral part in the team's build-up play, Castorre is currently on a goal drought and has been struggling badly to score. Now this wouldn't be a surprise or major news for any 17-year-old winger, but Castorre is far more than your average player. He strives for perfection. Whenever he doesn't score in a match, he will beat himself up for missing any chances. He only wants to get better and better, and this goal drought is filling him with hunger and with desire to prove himself and to become even more lethal than he already is. And now, I'll leave you with a live recap of the last few matches. Hey guys, welcome to a more improvised segment, to change it up a little bit. So basically in the last 3 episodes we really only covered about 20 games or so, which isn't terrible, but I think we're going at a pretty slow rate, and I kind of wanted to summarize the remaining of the season, and I want to summarize a bit more, include more footage, more games in every episode, because otherwise it feels a little bit like, oh well, you only saw 2 or 3 goals today, you only saw 4 assists, in the last 4 episodes. So I'm not going to be drastic and summarize an entire season in an episode in 5 minutes, but I do think I can summarize at least a quarter or a third of a season in a single episode, just like the series moves on a bit faster, because playing the games is pretty easy, pretty fast. But it's not easy, I struggle a lot, but it's pretty fast. But it's the editing and all of that takes a little bit of time. So if I can include more footage in a single episode, that would be great. And you already saw a ridiculous own goal earlier on, but basically Castorre Jr. has been on a pretty significant goal drought. You'll see here a great chance, great ball over the defense, and he just puts it just right to the side of the post. He's done good, but he just didn't get the ball inside the net, and that's the problem with Castorre recently. He's really struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. He's trying his best, he's shooting from all angles, he's creating all the play from the team. He's calling the shots, he's guiding the ball, creating the wing play, creating the midfield play. Everything goes through him. Any chance that Colo-Colo has, it goes through him. But he just cannot find the ball in the back of the net, and that's okay, that's normal. It's only been a couple of games. They're still in a good position in the league, so it's not like it's killing the team, but he just doesn't accept this. He's a player that needs to score every single game, every single week. If he doesn't, he feels like he failed. And this is just the mentality of Castorre. He's a winger, he's 17 years old, and he already feels like he has to carry the team on his back. He needs to do the work, he needs to do everything for the team, because otherwise he just isn't happy with himself. If he won't be happy with the third man, the fourth man, the second man, he needs to be the complete star. And especially Colo-Colo has been struggling recently. They haven't had exactly too many incredible performances. Here another big chance, bounce off the defender's legs. It's unfortunate, but Colo-Colo has been struggling recently. They haven't had an easy time, a lot of draws, a lot of sloppy results, and that has definitely taken a toll in the table, because they could easily be the top of the league, but they're not. And here came a much better performance with Colo-Colo, obviously a great free kick goal by Castorre's teammate, Isla. And then later on, Castorre would get his own moment of success. Not a goal yet, but here dribbles perfectly, assists his teammate, and already is turning a good assist. It's not a goal, but obviously it'll be a lot for him mentally, because he's struggling to get numbers, so that always helps. But basically, Castorre feels like he's doing most of the work here, a good chance, and he almost puts it in the back of the net, so close. It's frustrating for him because he just cannot find the goal. He's so desperately looking for it. Here another good chance, difficult angle, gets a good shot, but he cannot put it in the back of the net. And this is killing him mentally. Like I said, he is a guy who thrives on goals, thrives on numbers, thrives on the tension, on the screams of the fans. And he's been killing himself mentally for not scoring, and it's only been 7 games. 7 games without a goal is pretty acceptable for a winger of his age. Some of the best wingers in the world sometimes go 10 games, 15 games, 20 games in a row without scoring. But he just couldn't accept it. But finally things are going more his team's way. Obviously here a very strong foul on him. And then finally, after 7 games without scoring a goal, this is what Castorre does. brilliant finish, a brilliant link-up finish with his team to put finally an end to that goal drought that was killing him mentally. And then there we see him lacing the shoe of his teammate who assisted him. You know, he's not an arrogant player. He's not a narcissist. He remains a very humble kid with very good morals and values. But sadly for him, the goal wasn't enough because the opponents equalized at the very end of the match. So even though it was the end of a goal drought for him, he just wasn't happy because his team was suffering. Look at the frustration in him, because now they're 8 points behind Universidad Católica, and this is just awful. It's awful, and you know, he's trying to score, he's trying to do whatever he can, but the team just isn't functioning the way they should. You know, he left Coquimbo Unido just for this, you know, to have a better stage, to be able to showcase his quality. But in the end, we're just struggling far more than he did with Coquimbo. It's like Golo is just not having a good time on the pitch, and you know, he's probably the only good thing that they have going on. So he's a little bit frustrated with that. Obviously, he finally brought an end to the goal drought, but things are not going Colo-Colo's way or his way at all. But maybe things change soon, you know. Maybe things change soon, but definitely not here. This was another awful defeat that has his team, I think, like 10 points behind in the league, something like that. About 10 points behind the league, and it's just really draining for him because he's trying his best, but things just aren't working. But don't worry, because Lorenzo Castorrre Jr. won't give up, and he's going to do whatever he can to revert the situation and to give his team the trophy, even if he has to fight everyone on his own.